everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I'm actually casing a card design that I saw Lisa Freeman do, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I've got some samples that I want to show you, and hers looked very similar to this. But I wanted to do something a little different. And y'all know I like to take someone's design when I use it and kind of change it up. And here are two that I did using the citrus blooms. And I used the designer series paper as well. And when you cut this card, you get two cards from one cut. So you will need one piece of cardstock for your card base, but I thought both of these were beautiful in their own right. So that's what we're going to do today, but I thought I would use this wildly flowering paper because this has a very pretty linen look to it. And I thought with the flowers, the beautiful big flowers on this side, the moody mauve and the beautiful blues, we've got some greens in there, even a little bit of early espresso, and the beige. I'm seeing some of that new basic beige in here, that this would be a really pretty color to work with. So what we're going to do to start out with, let's cut our paper down first. And what we're going to need is two pieces. I don't know if I'm going to use these strips or not. This was from the cards that I did these, and I'll show you how they play in. I may use the Moody Mauve, but I'm not sure yet. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in our trimmer, and we're going to line it up to 4 inches. And all we need to do is cut 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of paper. Now you're going to need 2. So what you're going to do is go ahead and line this piece up to 5 1/4 and cut, and then line this one up to 5 1/4. And out of a 12 by 12, you're going to have a little piece at the top like that. Plus there's another piece here that you could make 2 more cards with. And I've already used this piece to make another card with. So now I want to look at this and decide which piece do I want to use. I think I want this for my front. And I'm going to turn this piece over and put it together like that because we're going to make our diagonal cuts with the 2 pieces stacked together. But you want both of them facing up in the direction that you want to use them. So whatever side you want up, just make sure it's facing you and just stack them just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our trimmer, and I like to bring it in at about, make sure they're nice and even, about 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to take a pencil, and this is going to work out really good because it's going to be right there on that white. And I'm going to make myself a little tick mark, and you can see it right there. And then I'm going to measure this way, and I'm going to bring it out to about 2, maybe about 1 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to mark that one right there. Then I want to come down to right about here, and that's going to be about 3/4 of an inch in. This marking sounds difficult, but you can mark this any way you want to, depending on how you want your pieces to go. And then from that piece up to almost up to that one, you want maybe about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come over 1/4 of an inch from that line, and I'm going to make myself another line. So I know that the top one, I need to go from the top one over to this line. You see how I'm lining that up in my trimmer? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my blade down, and I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to lay that to the side. Then I'm going to come back up, and that second line is right there, and I'm going to pivot this around till I get this piece lined up in my trimmer. So here and here. And then we're going to cut that again. Now what that's going to give you is your pieces like that. Okay, once you get this cut like this and you've got your 3 pieces, what you want to do is you want to take one piece and lay it here, and then take this piece and lay it here, and you can see how everything's going to match up. And then this piece is going to go here, this piece will go here, and this one will go here. And you've got 2 beautiful cards that are the same but yet different. So you might say, well, how are we going to put this together? Very simply, we're going to grab a piece of white cardstock, and I might have to cut a piece. A basic piece of white cardstock, and we are going to cut this the same size this was. So we're going to cut this at 4. Let's see, maybe we'll do better doing it this way. Yeah, let's cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And 4 by 5 1/4. So all we have to do is cut this one down to 5 1/4. So now we have our pieces that we need to make this happen. So what you're going to do is you want to take that middle piece first and put it down, just like that. So all we're going to do is glue this down. Now all of my measurements will be on my blog, and the cutting dimensions and everything. But like I said, you can cut your angles any way you want to. So, oops, let's get this going the right way, like this. Bring it right over to the edge of the paper, just like that. Put it down. Give it a rub. I'm going to go ahead and snip that off. Then you're going to take this piece, and this is the piece you're going to want to run. If you want to run some white on it, or whatever color that you think you want to put on it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do the white on this one. I might do the mauve on the other one. But what you're going to do is you're going to glue this on with about 1/8 of an inch showing, like that. Very simple. Just run a line of glue right on that edge. It doesn't take very much glue to hold that. And then all you're going to do is sit that down. Just like that. See how easy that went on? Then you can take your paper snips and just snip that off even. Just like that. And like this. And then this piece is ready to go onto here. Now what's going to happen, that's going to lap over top of the middle piece, but that's okay. As long as your edges are lined up, you'll be good to go. So just take and put glue down on the back of this one. Just like that. Line that up to the edge and the bottom. Give it a good press. You're good to go. Now that one's down. So now all we have left is this one. So we're going to put the white edge on it as well. And that one needs to go under here. So I'm going to turn that over and put some glue under here. Just make sure you're putting the glue on the right side. So just look at it twice before you do it and make sure you're getting your glue exactly where you want it to be. So I'm going to lay that down, making sure it's about 1/8 of an inch. And you don't have to measure it. You can just eyeball it. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to come back in again with our snips and just snip that off. And do the same thing up here at the top for the other side. Okay, I'm back, and what I did is I went off camera and I went ahead and pulled some cardstock that I want to use for my base. So I have a piece of white for the inside, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I thought that this one would look really good on here because we have more of the blue showing. So we're going to use that one on the Misty Moonlight. I've got a piece of Moody Mauve right here, just a scrap that we're going to use. I also pulled a piece of Boho Blue, and I thought that the other one would look really good on this particular color. And you'll see how it picks up the blue in the background. I think that's very attractive. So let's go ahead and see what we need to do to go ahead and get these cards together. I'm going to stamp this little flower a couple of times, and then we're going to do a little bit of coloring on it. It shouldn't be very hard to do. Should go pretty fast. So I'm going to use my memento and go ahead and ink that up. I'll do 4 of them just for good measure. And then I also want to, from the same stamp set, Wildflower Designs, I'm going to take out the Sending Happy Thoughts. And I'm going to grab just a scrap of white paper. I'm just going to stamp this right down here at the bottom. There is our sentiment. Now, I also want to do the thank you, but we're going to heat emboss that. And this is going to go right here. So I'm going to grab my Versamark ink, which is a clear watermark ink. And let's prep our paper. Prep our paper. All we're going to do is use our little embossing buddy. And what this little powder tool does is it takes all of the static so that your powder will only stick where your ink is at. So that looks good. As you notice, I keep all of my embossing tools in one of these stamp cases, and it's a good way to keep everything together. So now we will ink this up. Stamp it right about there. That looks pretty good, and I'm going to emboss that in white. So I'm going to pull up my embossing powder. I'm going to hold this from this side and just sprinkle some on. And just give a tap off. And that looks really good. So now we can heat set it. I'm going to turn on my heat tool and go ahead and proceed to emboss this. This does a little bit loud, so just bear with me. Doesn't take long at all. It's a very fast process if it's just a sentiment. If you're doing a big image, it would take a little bit longer. Let that cool down just a little bit, but we're going to cut this out using this die. So I'm going to just line this up over top. And I don't want this to shift or move because I want it to be straight. So I am going to tape this down like that. And we're going to try using our little machine because this fits on my desk so neatly. So I have my number 1 plate, a cut plate that has been well loved, my cardstock with my die, and then another cover plate over top of that. And there is our little sentiment for that one. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of coloring on here. I'm going to grab some Mossy Meadow and the Nerdy Mall. I think those are the colors I'm going to choose for these particular flowers. We might even do one in boho blue, but I'm going to come in first with my light Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to put a little color on these leaves. We've got those all done, and I need to find my wallflower dies. Those dies are here somewhere, so here they are. We're just going to cut out this little flower. So I'm going to go off camera and cut all 4 of these, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got all of my little flowers die cut. So now we're going to go ahead and put these cards together. The first thing I want to do is just put some glue on the back of this one. And we're just going to glue this flat down. Give it a good press, make sure everything adheres. I like to open it up and just give it a rub from this side. Now we're going to take this little piece, put that on backwards. I did. See if we can lift it up. Yep, I really wanted it like that. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seals this time. Okay, now we'll set it down just in the same place. Give it a press. Things like that happen. So, give it a press. Now we can take our little sentiment and decide where we want it. We want it up here, maybe right about here. I think right there is where I want it. And I'm going to do a little flower coming off here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just put it on the edge of the bottom of this. And just let that kind of jaunt out from the bottom corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here at the top. So we're going to put a little bit of glue right there on that end. Like that. And now we'll pop this whole thing up on a couple of dimensionals. Just like that. And then we need to decide what we're going to stamp on the inside. I think I'm going to go back to this one. You're the best kind of person, because we're saying thank you. And how cute would that be? And I think I'm just going to go in with black. And for this, anytime I do a sentiment, I like to use my VersaFine. The Memento, I love when I'm doing alcohol coloring. But if I'm not coloring anything, the Versamark, I mean the VersaFine is my favorite. And I think to carry through with the theme, I'm going to stamp just a little bouquet in the corner. And let's go ahead and do the inside of this one. I'm going to stamp that same flower in the bottom of this one. Like so. Then we need to decide I think this one is going to say sending happy thoughts, and then inside I'm going to put you've been on my mind. And now we have the inside of our cards done. Let's close up our ink. And let's put this inside. Get that press. And the only thing we'll have to do is come back and do some embellishments on that. We'll do that as soon as we get this one together. So this one's going to go together like this. So let's decide where we want. I think I want this to be right here in the middle. And we're going to bring one there and one there. So I think what I'm going to do is just glue these directly down. I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals and lay it across there. And now we need some embellishments. So let's I think I'm gonna do it the iridescent basic pearls on this one. And on this one, I'm gonna do the rhinestone basics. So I think this will be pretty on either card. So we're gonna do these first. And I'll grab my take your pick tool. And then we'll do some of these. Now, if you wanted to, the bow, I would do something kind of rustic like the linen thread. I know I love this stuff. Right there would be cute. So I'm going to grab a glue dot. And I'm actually going to pull it off with my fingers because I want to roll it so that it's very tiny. And then I'm going to stick it right there. And we're going to just push that little bow into that glue dot. And there is our little bow, and that looks really cute. Now let's decide if we want to use the linen thread on this one, or do we want to use a white? This is the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, and you get cream, gray, the beige, black, and white. So I'm going to use the white on this one. I'm going to do the same thing, just grab a glue dot. And roll it up, decide where we want to put that little bow. I think right there would be cute. So I'm going to stick my glue dot right there. And then just stick that knot right into it. And there are our two cards from one stack of paper and 1 sheet of cardstock. I love the way this turned out. I think they're very, very pretty. And you could make this for birthdays, you could make it for anniversaries, get well, just change up your sentiment, and you've got a card for any occasion that you need. And I love the way they turned out. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the products you saw me use, please reach out to me, or either you can go directly to the site and plug the numbers in. All of the order numbers will be on the PDF tutorial. And thanks once again for tuning in. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Savior Jesus. He is worthy. Until next time, bye-bye.